Surely McMahon knew he was no longer a lock as this...
As the Bears enter their 70th year, they hope they have what it takes to return to New Orleans and recapture that title, world champions. In the next hour, we'll talk to players and coaches about the '89 season. But first, let's return to 1988, the year that the Bears earned their 5th straight division title, exceeded most expectations, and remained one of the premier teams in the NFL. Despite losing mainstays like Peyton, Marshall, Fensick, and Galt, the coach entered training camp optimistic. In 1988, Mike Ditka needed to be optimistic. Before the season even started, the team lost 3 of their veterans to injury. Jim Covert hurt his back on the first day of training camp in Platteville. Paul Blair suffered a knee injury in August. And finally, Otis Wilson played his last game as a Bear against Dallas, where he hurt his knee.
I don't want a 377-pound defensive end.
377?
Or in that area.
William Perry spent most of last August hidden away in a fat farm. This left his contributions to the team a great big question mark.
Everything's behind me now. I'm just ready to go back and play football.
While Perry claimed that he was ready, the team as a whole looked like it could use a few more weeks of practice. The Bears lost their last 3 preseason games and carried 11 rookies into the start of the regular season.
I think we're going to end up with quite a few young players on our football team this year, and it's going to be a little shocking to people. But if you have people in backup roles who you don't think can ever start for you, you've got to replace them. And I think that's where teams make mistakes. They say that, but they don't do it.
Yeah, I would have threw 5 touchdowns if I'd have wrote the script. I don't get any money for running them in. I want to throw them in.
September and the regular season were inaugurated with an old-fashioned Bear mauling of Dan Marino and the rest of the Miami team.
A lot of people were trying to say that the Bears were done, we're through. I think a lot of guys just decided to put that chip back on their shoulder, and we're going to keep it there.
And when it comes to the Bears, football history is made off the field as well as on. We saw this as Richard Dent took on the NFL and its drug testing policy.
There'll be a statement made later. That's about it.
Is there more than one, Mike?
Yeah.
You know, the way the press is putting it, you know, like I'm a drug addict because I didn't take the test. Richard don't need any help at all. Richard needs help to get back on the field. I never had a drug problem. I never will. I'm saying no. I don't want to take the test. I don't have a reason for taking the test.
You're not on drugs?
And I'm not on drugs.
We're very, very happy with the commissioner's decision. Richard's now allowed to play football, and no further action will be taken.
In the matchup with Indianapolis, Vesty Jackson made 2 interceptions, which put him well on his way to matching the team season record of 9.
One of the prettier wins you'll see.
Losses are never pretty.
The way we played today was pitiful.
Minnesota brought a cloud that did more than rain on the Bears' hopes for a perfect season.
William Perry broke his arm. It depends on where it's broken. He may have to be operated on. He may be out for the year. Ron Morris had a compound dislocation of a finger where it came through the skin. Naturally was knocked out, you know. Emery Moorhead definitely out. He tore a hamstring.
Then, offensive coordinator Ed Hughes went on record with his disappointment in the offensive line. So, in their game against Green Bay, his men responded on the field and on the record.
No, I don't think anybody really pays much attention to Ed Hughes.
Many say that the Bears faced their first really good team on October 2nd, the undefeated Buffalo Bills.
It feels good to beat anybody, but to beat a team of Buffalo's caliber, I think it's a feather in our cap.
That game has been called the essence of McMahon.
A lot of guys played good in the game, but you know, he played outstanding. He really had a game worth talking about because he played with his guts.
I said I like this team better than any of the other teams that I've been on here in Chicago at the outset of the season, and I'm standing by it. I think we've got everything we need to go all the way, and I mean that sincerely.
A big price was paid for the Bears' win in Detroit.
There was never any paralysis. I want to emphasize that. dispel the rumors of this morning that Sean Gale was paralyzed. He obviously is not. Estimated time loss, you can expect right now anywhere from 6 to 8 weeks.
But the fracture sidelined Gale for the rest of the season. Bear rookies led the charge back home in Soldier Field. In his first NFL start, David Tate, who stepped in for Sean Gale, had an outstanding game which included 2 interceptions.
It was great. I think I was in the right position to make some plays today, and I made the plays. You know, I'll see the film tomorrow and know exactly how good I did.
And the defensive line came away with its 3rd quarterback pelt.
You know who's coming in next week?
Don't say it. 49ers.
You know they have won.
Oh, boy.
They're going to go for a record of road victories.
We're so scared. Can we cancel this game?
No, you're going to have to.
We have to play it? Oh, well. We'll try. I don't know how we can beat them, though.
All kidding aside, it was the defense that beat the San Francisco 49ers in their matchup on Monday Night Football, but the score was close, too close for comfort.
We got too much talent around here not to be good.
Armed with a record of 7-1 and an uncharacteristically healthy quarterback, the Bears thought they'd find no match in Doug Flutie and the New England Patriots. But they were very, very wrong. Then, nature struck a blow to the one man we all thought was indestructible.
The doctors from Lake Forest Hospital confirming to reporters that Mike Ditka indeed did have a heart attack today.
When it hits and you say you have a feeling of what it is, and you're saying it can't be that, and you're saying, well, that's what it is, though. And you're saying, but it can't be. Not me.
You know, this is a dirty job, but somebody's got to do it. Doctor's order. Doctor's order.
El Presidente, huh?
Iron Mike was back after missing only 1 game, and his presence on the sideline was watched almost as closely as the game itself. But it was another Mike, Mike Tomczak, who was the real star of that show.
It's a great victory, probably #1 victory in my history book, and it's a great team effort.
Tomczak thought he deserved the starter's job, but Jim McMahon wasn't ready to give it up yet.
I want to get out there and play. I want to show the guys that I'm the guy that's going to take us to the Super Bowl. I'm the guy that's going to get us through the playoffs.
It's his job for now, and I don't think I did anything to lose my job. A lot of guys get hurt and come back and play, so that's what I expect to do.
The quarterback decision was postponed by the Green Bay Packers. The Bears won by a score of 16-0, but they lost a big 2, Tomczak and Dent.
You could almost see the light at the end of the tunnel, and the playoffs were coming our way. Now with the loss of those 2 guys, the light is still there, but it's a little fainter.
The light grew fainter still. When the Bears played the Rams on the first Monday in December, they were beaten and beaten up.
My leg is hurting pretty bad. My pride's hurting too, so.
With Tomczak as their quarterback, the Bears faced Minnesota in the last game of the regular season. They had already clinched their 5th straight division title the week before. The Bears lost the game, but won back their confidence.
I don't have a whole lot to say, but I think the puppies bit back this week.
In the first round of the playoffs, Chicago proved that Bears are tougher than Eagles. Heavy fog in the second half made the day feel like a part of a dream, which caused it to be retitled the Fog Bowl. The team then returned to Swanee, Georgia to prepare for the rematch with the 49ers. The coach kept the identity of the starting quarterback a closely guarded secret. When Ditka announced McMahon, no one was more surprised than the 2 contenders.
He mentioned to me that he thought I was going to be the guy on Thursday at his press conference that he's going to name me. But he gave it 1 extra night, to think about it, and he just felt that Jim was the healthier guy.
Well, it surprised me, too. Mike had been taking the first snap all week, and I figured they were going to start him. I'm happy with the decision. I think it's the right one.
After having weathered all the obstacles of the regular season, the Bears had high hopes that their luck would hold out. But January 8th was not their day. Not even bear weather helped their cause. In the end, the healthier team got to continue the last leg of the trip to Miami and Super Bowl 23. 1988 was the turning point for Mike Tomczak. Ditka gained the confidence in him to trade Jim McMahon. But going into training camp, Ditka wasn't ready to admit it.
How do you have the quarterbacks listed?
1-1-1. I think they've all performed very well.
Going into Miami for the first preseason game, Ditka continued to call the quarterbacks even. But as usual, he hinted at what